What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's happening with the overall market this morning, as we have some catalysts coming out that could shake the way the market moves. Not to mention some new developments on these charts, especially for Tesla. But just know that I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. Deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30, and the offer is at the end of March. So as far as the market's going, I just want to mention that today is Monday, March 17th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. With the retail sales data coming out, or we had this data that just came out, and much of this data was just kind of flat, not really affecting us as much. At 10 o'clock a.m., we have business inventories and then some housing data, and much of this is quite minor. So this might not affect us way too much. But there was some good news for Tesla. Tesla's launching its free trial of its FSD service in China from March 17th through the 6th. This will allow lots and lots of these users whose cars are equipped with the compatible assisted driving hardware and software, as well as the newest version of navigation maps, to not only use it, but to really just try to see what they could really do with it. So it's very, very cool in my personal opinion, as they're trying to collect more data for this to roll out. They're also aiming for a full rollout of FSD this year, but they have to get through a lot of regulations and such. Still good news for them, especially as they're offering these trials. In the US, they're now trying to offer FSD systems that don't require navigation maps to be accurate. And because of the fact that they're trying to, train their AI and the technology a lot better, so they're working on that just so that it becomes, less dependent on those, and they're going to get a lot better at kind of just like, sensing their environments. Now, I don't think they're fully there yet, but improvements are being made, and I think that that's going to be, really awesome for the long term. So that's what Tesla's been doing. As far as geopolitics goes, we'll be listening to see if President Trump mentions more things about tariffs, which could affect us here and there. And also, there is a lot of tensions right now in the Middle East, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see the market dip just a little bit. However, I still believe that there's potential for an uptrend that could be respected for the next 1 to 2 weeks. For the remainder of March, just for a temporary move up before we see further downside. I will talk more about this in just a couple of minutes. So just keep that in mind. We're starting off a little bit weaker when it comes to futures, just for this morning, but the market's still holding support. US global economic growth is going to be lower than previous projected, according to new studies. So just keep that in mind, as we're seeing the OECD basically revising its estimates, starting to see some downside in our GDP. Besides that, there's been a lot of talk about tariffs and such, and that's pretty much it. I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy. Um, Besides that, the market has about a 21 fear and greed index. Right now, we're at extreme fear. That's making up the majority of sentiment, which makes me suspect that we might see some upside over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Before that happens, we'll see if we get some kind of tip first before a later bounce, and I'll talk more about that. So, in my view, we have this bullish wedge like structure. Okay, we're going to be watching to see what happens right over here as we start dipping right here back down towards this support. We're going to be looking to see if Tesla could hold between around this like 242-ish area, if not around 240. As long as that could hold us, we have the potential to essentially form a wedge, eventually start trying to push to fill this gap up over here, right? There's a good chance that we're eventually going to make a move like this. If we dip a little bit lower, we're going to be fine. As long as we can make a higher low, I think we're just going to be fine either way. So if we retest 240 to like 235 in that range, as long as I don't see us lose like 230, I think we're going to be completely fine. We could see that 235 to 240 range being tested. If we do get some kind of dip move, I do anticipate that for today, a small little dip that's coming. But then, later on, I do anticipate that we're going to be followed with upside, at least as time goes on, and a move like this. Unless we close below 230, that's what I'm essentially favoring. When you go to the 30 minutes time frame for Tesla, we're still holding up quite well, making higher highs and higher lows. This is also forming like a wedge. That's a good sign. But I just don't want to see this lose this low right here. I just don't want to see Tesla kind of shift its trend. We may temporarily kind of like dip like this, but like I said before, even if that's the case, we could still try to accumulate as the days go on. As long as we don't lose this low, is all I'm trying to tell you, we're going to be okay. So this morning, anticipate a little bit of a pullback move. I do think we're going to pull back a bit. We do have this imbalance down here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get to like the mid to low 240s first. And as long as we don't end up losing 230, we could just reaccumulate and slowly try to build our way back up to start pushing. So just keep that in mind. For SPY, we're looking decent. We're actually back in the green right now. We will see if we get some kind of pullback move or not to retest, the supports. And then if we could break 565 and hold above it, we look bullish. This is my view. I think we're bullish, guys, for the next 1 to 2 weeks. We're looking bullish. We should be looking for a nice comeback move, especially as we have this gap to fill back in the 570s. So the market is very resilient. We'll see if we start off with a pullback move first. They usually like to grab liquidity, take out some lows from the pre-markets. Then they start to kind of like push us up higher, back up for like these levels. If we hold above 565, we're looking for a bigger move up for the 570s. So keep that in mind. I do think that if we do get some kind of dip move, I want to see us hold 555 at the very least. So if there is some kind of dip, I just don't want to see 555 fail us. So watch and see if we get back above 565. And we're looking for an attempt to push even higher with an inverse head and shoulders. So, that's what my view is. We're bullish overall. We'll see if we get a pullback move first. They sometimes like to do that. But either way, I do see us eventually pushing for the 570s by the end of this week. So keep that in mind, right? Whether we get some kind of pullback move first and start bouncing, if we just start this uptrend, I do anticipate a 1 to 2 week uptrend. Onto the QQQ, it's looking strong so far. I just want to see us hold 480. If that holds, we easily push for 485 in the 490s. If we lose 474 close below it, we have a gap to pull back down to 471. So as long as support holds, we're looking for an attempt for 488, 485, and 488. As long as 480 holds. So far we're trying to hold it. We'll see if we get that pullback move or not. It might be very, very minor before it starts bouncing. So I do anticipate some upside. The Russell looks a little more bullish. I want to see us break this trend line. If that breaks and gets above 205, I think we easily push for 209 or so. If we lose 199, we could turn back down. I don't really favor that. I'm favoring upside a little bit more. ES has 5672 as our resistance. If that breaks, we go to this upper trend line. If we lose 5600 near our 20 EMA, we could turn back down. We're forming kind of like an inverse head and shoulders here. So this is looking quite good. So we'll see if we get some kind of dip move before it starts to reaccumulate and starts pushing back up towards this trend line. So give this the time it needs. Overall, it is looking a little bit more bullish, at least for the shorter term. So could we push to 5672? Yes, we could. And we also have this upper trend line. So we could be testing those levels and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For NQ, we're looking for 19,839. If that breaks, we're looking for 20,000. If we lose support at 19,500, we could turn back down. With this double bottom here, we could try to push higher for 19,839. So we'll see how it goes. I do anticipate a little bit more upside. We might retest like the 19,600 area before it tries to bounce. But overall, the setup looks bullish. We will eventually push to the 20,000s within the next 1 week. I do see that easily coming back up to like 20,600, for example. But we'll see if we get a short-term accumulation first. Bitcoin is holding this trend line. We just need to see this hold. As long as this holds, we should continue to uptrend for 86,000 plus. If we lose this, we could be dipping back down towards 80,000 or below. For NQ, NQ is looking a little bit more bullish as we're trying to push right here. We have this resistance around 125 that breaks. We're looking for 126.68. If we end up losing 118, we're looking for a dip back down. So we're looking pretty good here, especially as we're trying to uptrend. We could be pushing for 126, so we'll just have to see how this goes. Might dip a little bit before it continues to push for 126 as we look bullish. I like this setup on Tesla. If we get a pullback first, a small little one, we have the potential to push for 260 if we could hold above 250. But like I said before, we'll see if we get a pullback move first before it starts to, starts pushing even higher to fill this gap over here. So get back above 215, hold it, and we're expecting 262. For Apple, we're looking a bit more bullish. Could be looking for a test of 217. If that breaks, we're looking for 220. I just don't want to see us lose 210, so there's potential nonetheless. Coin, obviously, it's a little bit weak here. We kind of have like an inverse cup and handle like structure. We need to get back above 188. Otherwise, this might be dipping back down for 178. So give it some time. For Amazon, we need to hold above 198. As long as that holds, we're looking for 202 plus. If we lose this, we could be dipping back down for 195. But I think that this looks bullish as we're making a higher low. For Meta, we have a double bottom. I want to see us hold above 610. If that holds, we could be looking for a bigger move up towards 616. I think there's a good chance we push for 616 plus in the 620 area, but I just don't want to see us lose 600 for confirmation, and we do have potential to push more. Microsoft has a nice double bottom here. We're looking for 389 if that breaks. We're looking for an attempt for 393. And then Google, if we could break past 168, we're looking for a push as well. We are looking a bit more bullish. So far, I think we're doing a good job. So as far as the market goes, the VIX is up a little bit, but we're going to see if the VIX gets a continuation lower. My view of the market is that we might attempt to see a temporary move up, which could help Tesla push a bit. We'll see if we get a little pullback move first. Tesla's down a little bit during the pre-market, so we'll see about that. And we're also going to watch and see how this wedge looks. Might see a pullback move first before it tries to reaccumulate, and eventually break past 250 to start this push for 262. Anyways, that's it for this video. I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good one, and peace out.